Welcome to the Business Focus podcast. Before we start, can we ask one thing? 74% of you that watch this channel frequently do not subscribe. If you've enjoyed our videos, please could you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button? It helps this channel more than you know, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the learning gets. Welcome to the Business Focus podcast. Jonathan Herps is the host of the Business Focus podcast. He is a strategic advisor, coach, and mentor to entrepreneurial business owners, CEOs, and senior executives. In this podcast, he chats with entrepreneurs, founders, and CEOs of scaling companies. It centers around their entrepreneurial journey so far and their aspirations for their companies.
Hi there. I'd like to welcome Raj Narayan to the podcast today. She's the founder and CEO of Emajin Golf. Hi, Raj. Welcome.
Hi, Jonathan. Thank you so much for having me, and it's such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to our conversation. So why don't we just jump straight in? Why don't you tell me a bit about Emajin Golf? What does it do? How long have you been doing it?
So look, I've been running this business, actually set up in January 2021. I thought I was setting up after COVID was over in 2020. Little did I know there's going to be another year of COVID and lockdowns. But anyway, we started in Jan 2021. And what we do at Emajin Golf is we are a golf-based business networking group. And we do three key things: access, learn, and grow. We provide access to play at some of the top-rated golf courses across Australia. Opportunities to learn from senior keynote speakers. We've had the CEO of Australia Post, CEO of Metcash, Chief Customer Officer at Xero, etc., coming in to be our keynote speakers. And the growth, actually, there's an opportunity to grow your business by connecting with other business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives in a relaxed setting of the golf course. I always say most business happens when you're not trying to do business at all. So I think the golf course is an amazing setting to make some strong connections.
If you play golf.
That's right. And to add to that, our community is very inclusive and very welcoming. So we have complete non-golfers in there as well as beginner golfers, as well as obviously proficient golfers. And the model, the way it works is we have our networking meeting, and following that, you have an option to attend a golf clinic. So where you just learn how to golf from golf professionals, or play 18 holes of golf, or just come to the networking part of it and connect with people and not do any golf at all.
Right.
It's a welcoming community of.
I jokingly said that because I'm not a golfer. But I was looking through some of the speakers that you've had this year and last year, and they're fabulous.
Exactly. Like when we had Paul Graham, the CEO of Australia Post, when he was speaking, we had 6 listed CEOs in the room listening to him, as well as a number of business owners and executives. And so it's a great community to belong to. I love this saying by Brian Solis, and he said, community is not about belonging to something. It's about doing something together that makes belonging matter. And so when you kind of doing a shared activity or a shared interest, doesn't matter how well you hit the ball or not, you just have a shared experience. It's a great shot, you all clap. If it's a bad shot, you all laugh together. But what it does is you bonded in a way that,
Absolutely. And I'm just going to put a plug in here. As I said, great speakers, and it's not that expensive to be a member. So check out the website.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. So tell me, how would you describe your core customer, your best customer? You've mentioned entrepreneurs, executives. What's your description?
Yes. So look, at the core of what we do, we are a business networking community. So our ideal customers are, business owners, entrepreneurs, C-suite executives, anybody who's really looking to build their network, grow their business, or really make some strong connections. So that's the core of our customer base. And as I said before, we are an inclusive group. So the golfing ability is quite varied among our customers. And that's never been a key issue or a key factor. But if you look at an ideal customer, there's someone who, are keen to network with people, keen to grow their business, keen to learn and grow. And then obviously, enjoy a bit of golf and play some golf.
Right. So you managed to start the business after COVID-1 and before COVID-2. Tell me a little bit about some of the actions you took during COVID, during the pandemic that have stuck with the business going forward.
Yes, look, yes, I started in Jan 2021. We thought COVID was finished. But then obviously after 3 or 4 months of a bit of momentum, we went into lockdowns. So as a business that's about networking, well, really, it's very hard to network. We tried a couple of Zoom things and whatever, but we're a golf-based networking group. And while golf was one of the very few things that people could still do, it was still not possible to meet in more than a group of 2 people. So, you know what I mean? So the networking part of it was very hard. We did adapt and change. We provided, golf handicaps. We ran an online competition so people could play golf anywhere, put in their scores, and they go into the draw to win a brand new driver and so forth. We partnered with Drummond Golf. We offered some amazing prizes, a box of Pro V1 golf balls every week. So we tried, you know what I mean? It's like the restaurant, they were doing takeaways. We tried to adapt and do a lot of things. But one of the interesting things that we did, and it's a funny story, but one of the decisions I made when COVID started was that I was going to keep all my stuff. Because I thought about it and I thought, look, what would they do? And I said, I'm going to keep all the stuff. And in my mind, as many business owners, I probably thought the lockdown would last for 6 weeks. And then as the months were growing and the 6 months, I'm thinking, oh goodness, it is, you know what I mean? And because we'd only set up in January, we really didn't qualify for the job keeper or the job seeker and everything, because you needed to have revenues the previous year, which we didn't have. So it was an interesting, tough time. But at the same time, what we did was I introduced this thing. So everybody was paid. So I said, well, every day we had to jump on Zoom, and I would run this Kahoot. I don't know whether you've heard of it, but Kahoot is a like online quiz program where you could write up some quizzes. And so we used to have a quiz on the golf rules, the golf programs. Like we ran all these quizzes every day. It was just for fun, but we'd all get on the quiz and everybody had to do this quiz. And also that time during COVID was a great time for us to, settle some of our processes, systems, put in place a lot of foundational work. But the Kahoot was an interesting way for us to do it because, you know what I mean, how much processes are going to do. So we kind of, make it like a little quiz. And that Kahoot has stayed still. Even now, every now and then we all play Kahoot on more fun and interesting things now. But the great thing for us was, and you kind of talk about, I'm always a very optimistic glass half full person. And the biggest thing for us with COVID was the silver lining was that everybody took it up. It was one of the only things you could do. And golf has been, ever since COVID, in the biggest boom it's ever had. Because, you know what I mean, golf was really big, then it was declining. Now it's in a massive boom. And we have, people, I kind of think, people talk about successful businesses. Sometimes a lot of it is being in the right place at the right time. We've just come in, we'd had that stable time to stabilize our systems, processes. And coming out of it in mid-2022 onwards, we've had significant growth. And we have about 1,200 members. And the significant growth, we had the processes in place to be able to deal with. But also we had a team that was really bonded during this time and really trained as well. Like everybody's proficient with the rules. Everybody understands the processes, the scoring of the scorecards and so forth. So it's just helped us quite a bit to, come out of it very strong.
And a huge amount of loyalty.
Yes, that's right. And we're like a tight-knit team, very close. So, yeah.
There's a couple of quotes that sort of run in there with sort of to apply to what you talked about. One is Jim Collins, who's one of my favorite authors, who wrote a book called Good to Great. He talks about return on luck.
Yeah.
But based on the basis that you make your own luck. And of course, Steve Jobs had that wonderful quote. He's always amazed how long it takes for one is what looks like a very quick scale up. So
that's right. And people talk about overnight successes.
Yeah, that's right.
You kind of think, sorry, they were there for 14 years before they became the
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's the future look like, and what are your main challenges going forward?
Look, in terms of our future, what it looks like is we want to build one of the largest business networking and golfing communities in Australia that is inclusive, that is easily accessible, cost-effective, and really make, golf has always been a bit of an elitist sport, and networking has been a bit hard sometimes because not everybody's extroverted, not everybody really thrives in an environment where you go in and start giving your elevator pitches and handing over business cards and so forth. So that what we would really want to provide is an alternative, an amazing relaxed environment. You come in, you play a sport, or you connect with people in a relaxed setting. Just makes it, less transactional and really more meaningful relationships. but also you learn a new sport and get into it. So for us, the real next phase is around growth. We are growing at a very rapid pace. So for us, it's all about, managing the scale up, ensuring that amazing customer service and customer contact that we have is still preserved as we grow and scale. So that's like our challenge that we are really focused on. So because one of the things we do is, say, for example, you're a member of Emajin Golf. We sit down with every one of our members and work out two things. One, learn more about their business, which is, of course, a given, but being a networking group. But the two, we really want to identify and understand who they're looking to meet. So you might be a buyer's agent and you might say, look, I want to meet an accountant or a financial planner who looks after SMSFs, because I do a lot of investment property and people invest through the SMSF. So something like that, we, really take note of that. And then as people come to our events and as people arrive, we pair them up, both of the networking. A lot of the times you're seated at the networking. So we put people's names and seat them so they can meet a group of different people than they would normally meet. And also when you play golf, your 4-ball, we put a lot of time and effort into, who you end up playing with, and hopefully try to make as many connections as we possibly can. And so that is what we really focus on. And I want, a challenge would be to ensure we maintain that and build on that as we scale up and as we grow. So we've just launched it to Brisbane and Melbourne recently. So our challenge is to, just ensure we're providing this great, service as we do now in the future as well.
Great. So tell me, I've forgotten, is this your first business out of corporate?
Yes, it is. So all my career has been in large corporate. And so this is my first entrepreneurial venture.
Raj and I have something in common. She was at one stage COO of Westpac's private banks, and at one stage I was deputy general manager of Commonwealth Bank's private banks. So
there you go.
So what do you think, the last 3 years, what's been your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
Look, the biggest learning has always been how hands-on I am and how broad, your skill base and your role is. So for example, I worked as a COO and at Westpac, and a lot of I handled all of the non-sales functions. So training, learning and development, marketing, product, operations, and so forth. So I did have breadth as one of the things that I worked on. But starting an entrepreneurial venture is completely different. I'm doing right from doing everything from invoicing to all the way to doing strategic talks on strategic networking and everything else in between. So I think that's been really hands-on and also very close to my team. I had a much larger team when I worked in corporate, and now we're a much smaller but a lot more close-knit team, and very little hierarchy and so forth. So we're all directly connected to one another. So I think these have been the big learnings and things, handling everything, wearing all hats at the same time. Many entrepreneurs will get,
Yeah, I think a lot of our listeners will absolutely relate to that one.
Relate to that, yeah.
Me too. So when you think of the word successful, tell me who comes to mind and why?
Look, I kind of, Oprah Winfrey, she's one of the people I really look up to, as in, she inspires me in the sense that she's self-made, comes from a very, not a great flash background, and built her whole empire on a, smarts and merit and a bit of hustle. And that kind of really inspires me. And there's a lot of people who've, really well educated, really successful and so forth. But to really create something off your own back with, very little formal education or formal training, but build this massive following and empire, I think that was just something that really resonates with me. That's a great achievement.
You're the first person that we've interviewed that has suggested Oprah Winfrey in this 92 interviews podcast we've done that. I'll chase down. There's a fabulous article that she was interviewed in about a bit about her journey, but also about her principles of leadership and principles of business. I'll track it down and send it to you. It's a real great.
Oh, thank you so much. That'll be awesome. Yeah.
So, having said that, now into books, podcasts, autobiographies. Any that you can recommend or that you the most?
Look, I like Atomic Habits by James Clear. Love that. I actually had the opportunity to go and hear him speak a few days ago.
Yeah.
Darling Harbour. So that was amazing. And I just love that book. The other thing I really like is Alex Hormozi. He did the 100 Million Leads, which is a great podcast. So he wrote the book and has released the podcast. It's free of charge for everybody. So that's an amazing one to listen to if you have the time. I love that. And the other one was Systemology.
Yes.
Systemology on creating systems and sustainable systems and processes within your business. There's some I'd recommend.
Systemology, I've forgotten the author. He's a Melbourne. Sorry,
David Jennings.
Yeah, David Jennings, and it's a great book. Alex Hormozi, his book has just arrived actually, and it's fascinating. He broke Zoom when he the way he actually used his system to launch the book.
Yeah,
and they literally broke Zoom. He had over 500,000 listeners
live, and it was at 2 a.m. Australian time.
That's right.
Yeah, or something like that. It was middle of the night, and it was worldwide at the same time, and it was just massive.
Yeah.
And the first book was 100 million offers, but I actually think the 100 million leads is a great one for everybody to listen to. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I've got a note that I took to my clients a lot about. Everything is downstream of lead generation.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last question. Any last bits of advice or parting words?
I like this. I'm going to use one of these quotes by Porter Gale, and he says, "Your network is your net worth." So my parting piece of advice or whatever would be to always, because as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, it's so easy to get involved working in your business. Always allocate time to work on your business and on your personal brand and create a community, create your tribe, a network who will be your support, who will be, provide learning and growth.
Absolutely. Great piece of advice. Raj, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, I've enjoyed the conversation, and I look forward to
If you are hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope you enjoyed this new episode, and if you did, please leave us a review on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, or wherever you watch/listen. Please share this episode with others who may be interested in this topic. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, please send an email to admin@scaleupgrowth.co. Put "Be a guest" in the subject line and tell me a little about yourself. If you want to gauge where your business growth potential is and identify where the biggest opportunities in your business lie, or where the key needs that you need to concentrate on right now are, take our assessment where you will receive personalized advice for improvement. It's quick and free. Go to scaleupgrowth.scoreapp.com. If you would like to work with me one-to-one, I love coaching and get the best outcomes that way. Send me an email to jonathan@scaleupgrowth.co and put one-to-one in the heading. Tell me a bit about your business and let's see how we can apply a great strategy for your business. So that's it for this week. Tune in next time for more great learnings from a scaling entrepreneur.